Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 8th and possibly final, we're not sure, gotta wear these things, episode of The Owner's Box After Dark. Hi, I'm your host, Mark Farinella, and no, I am no longer on vacation. I am home, more familiar surroundings for me, certainly, and still figured I owed you folks one more of these, and this is what I intend to do for you tonight. The last one of these, at least for the time being. I might try to keep this up. I'm thinking I might want to find some editing software somewhere. I really miss the old Windows Movie Maker. You know, that stuff was great. I made 45-minute long movies, legitimate movies, although they were more like television shows. I made like 17 of them about, I want to say 14, 15 years ago. And they still hold up great. I recorded them to DVDs, and they look great. Not high definition, but really, unfortunately, Microsoft stopped supporting the software of Windows Movie Maker, the original one. And so I will have to find something that's easy and that teaches me how to do graphics and all that kind of stuff. And at that point, I might want to continue a video blog somewhere along the way. That would be great. But in the meantime, this is episode 8 of The Owner's Box After Dark as originally conceived. And just thought I'd touch base one last time, at least for the time being. I did leave early this morning. I was in North Falmouth for 2 weeks. I'm not going to blow smoke up anybody's rear end about that anymore because I'm no longer there, and I'm here, and the house is fine. And as it was, I mean, I came back here at least 3 times during the 2 weeks that I was off anyway. As you know, the thing is, you know, I got here around noon. I had to get out by that time because my friend had another tenant, one who was paying him a lot more, to stay for about 2 weeks. So I returned here. Quick ride today. A lot of traffic going down to the Cape, but coming back, no, it was pretty easy. So it was about the usual 45 to 50-minute drive. And you know, because I had returned home a couple of times, I was able to bring some things back with me, and so it made the packing effort a little bit lighter. But I still want to get it done as soon as I get home because I have perishable items and things like that. So, the biggest problem, I think, is the stuff you buy while you're down there, while you're on vacation, especially if you buy perishable food and you don't eat it all. I mean, you don't want to waste it, so you bring it back home with you. And that's exactly what I did. Once I got all that unpacked and I got it squared away, I looked around the yard. And wow, I'll tell you, they must have had some really good rain here during the week because the grass grew like crazy, and not an attractive way either. In fact, I think that maybe I was here Monday and the grass was getting a little long, and then I came back on Wednesday for, and I mentioned it to you folks, physical therapy and a meeting of our Hall of Fame committee. And the grass looked like it had been mowed by the people that I contract to do it. And I have, most of the time, I just have them do the larger jobs and I mow myself. But with the knee problems I've had, I haven't been able to really pay attention to mowing myself and had to let someone else do it. So, but when I looked around here today, I noticed that there were these things called, I guess it's barn grass. It's a lighter green than the other grass. And it grows up and out, and it looked like a fountain. I had these patches of huge, like 6-inch tall weeds, it looks like. And I don't know if it's good grass or not. When it's mowed down tightly, it looks nice. So I looked around and I said, you know, I got to get rid of this stuff. Mainly because nothing says lack of occupancy better than lack of mowing. Now, granted, it's occupied right now. I'm here. I'm home. But I don't want anybody thinking, oh, yeah, there's nobody at that house. Let's break in tonight. So I got out there and I mowed today. Now, again, You guys know it. I've been talking about it all over the place about the bad knee. Well, I can do pretty good job of walking straight ahead, straight back and forth. I'm good. It's when I think about any kind of like lateral movement that it's it's very painful. Also, flat surfaces help me very well. And I think this is how I hurt my knee the first time around, or at least, irritated past injuries, was by mowing, and it was right at the beginning of the year, and when there are little frost heaves in your yard and you don't know where they are and you step the wrong way, and I think that's what happened to me, and it just never got any better. So I got out there and I said, I got to do it. It just needs to be done, and I got through it. It was 91 degrees when I went out there to do it, but it's not as humid today as it has been. And so I waited till about 5 o'clock, and the shadows got a little longer, and I get a few shadows in my yard. And I just did the front yard today. I didn't bother to try with the backyard. Nobody sees the backyard anyway. So as a result, I think it was just a good idea to me to get out there and get the job done. So it looks neat. I had to actually empty the bag 3 times, and that's incredible. Usually the front yard is a one-bag job, and that's when I was mowing every Monday, or as I would like to call it, mowing Monday. So that's done. I was pretty tired afterwards, but and the backyard will have to wait for a while. So that was a welcome back to the real world type of thing. By the way, just so that you know, if I'm looking down a lot, it's because crib sheets. I had to do it again. I didn't type out the pre-written script. I have no pre-written script. Besides, I've been doing this all summer long, it seems. So it was a good vacation. Different because I did not have a visitor with me, and I won't belabor that story any. It's just that for the last, I want to say 20 years, I've had somebody spend a good portion of a week with me, and that did not happen this year, and for reasons I won't get into. So I had to move on. Besides, it was a different place this year. The Cape was really a different place. First of all, with the pandemic still going on, there were differences in how you would approach things. I wasn't sure how half the restaurants were operating. I did go to a couple that were still opening up, but they had opened up outside dining or would offer indoor dining if there was a small crowd going inside, and obviously we're spaced out a lot. So, but for the most part, I just got my own food, and I made it. I'm very proud of myself. I made 2 lobsters, and they were both delicious. I did a great job on those things, to the point where I think I actually may cook a couple here at home. But if you can believe it, I never got fried clams while I was down there, and that's one of the things I love the most is fried clams. So I got some today from a local restaurant here in town that is a very good seafood restaurant, and as also a seafood store. And you know what? I think those fried clams were better today than what I would have gotten in mashed peas, and the onion rings were really good too. I only went to the beach twice. Now, I mentioned one of the situations where I went down to this private beach that I go to, and then some people came in and just plopped their stuff down right on top of me practically. No semblance of paying attention to social distancing at all, even though they had the whole beach, as I did. And I was the one who was ending up moving, and it just kind of ticked me off a little bit, and I just said the heck with it, and I went home. Now, the second time I went was this past Tuesday, and it was a very, very hot day down the Cape, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to go. That's all there is to it. I've got to go down there. So I went, packed up my stuff, went in through the public beach opening. Nobody checked my ID badge, so that was good. And I walked the relatively short distance to about the length of a football field to the beach where I normally go. But you know what? It's strange, but especially with the bad knee, it really drove it home. And also, I have to admit, as a 66-year-old man and a diabetic, I do have issues with neuropathy in my feet, nerve situation where my feet are either numb or aching, depends on the day, or sometimes it doesn't hurt at all. But with the problems in the left knee, my left leg has had a lot of issues lately, and when you're trying to walk on a beach and it's slanted down and the beach sand is really loose and you're wearing flip-flops and you're not really catching anything the right way. And I swear my knee popped out at least 3 times on that short walk just to my beach spot. Now, I sat down there. It was terrific again. It was the lowest low tide I've seen at that beach in ages. Now, I thought the polar ice caps were melting. I was shocked to see so much open sand there. But I sat down. Nobody ever came around me. Went into the water, which was really like bath water. It was high 70s. It's a shallow harbor where this beach is. And it's very clean and very nice and a family atmosphere type of thing. But usually you can catch it during the weekdays and there's nobody there. And that was pretty much the case on this particular day. I had a nice time. I didn't spend a lot of time there, about maybe an hour and a half. I didn't want to get too sunburned when you have a situation like I had a couple of years ago where they had to take a couple of chunks out of the top of my head or else I might not be here right now. I did go out in the water and I tried to swim a little bit, and I'm not a bad swimmer, even though it's been rumored every now and then that Greenpeace would like to push me back in the water when I'm out of it because I'm a little bit big. I'm not a whale, but I'm a little bit big. But I actually am a very good swimmer. But the problem is with my left knee all shot again, I tried to kick. I tried to do the usual kicking movements, and it just wasn't right. So I fortunately, as far out as I could walk, basically the water was maybe coming up to chest level at the highest at that time. Very, very low tide. That was unusual, but it was a terrific time to sit there. But after that, I was done. And then for the rest of the night, my leg was so sore from the walking and the slipping and the popping that I just, for the rest of the week, and in fact, it didn't help any that on Wednesday when I went for physical therapy, I was really struggling. And in fact, I had my legs up on a big rubber ball. You've seen them in gyms, therapy gyms, workout gyms, the big rubber ball. And what I was supposed to do is I was supposed to use my legs to pull the ball back and forth like that. And then on one of them, the knee popped, and even my physical therapist was a little shocked by it. He goes, "Oh, so that's what it is." Yeah. So yeah, that was about it for me for the beach for the weekend. But still, it's always nice to get down there. I really wish I could go down in the wintertime as I used to, but my friend has to rent the house to pay the bills, and I've accepted that. We had many years where the wintertime is actually a better respite sometimes for Cape Cod than summertime, and I kind of miss that a lot. So it's time to get back to normal, and I've got I've got several doctor's appointments and more physical therapy coming this week, and all part of the maintenance of keeping this old body in one piece. But I was actually proud of myself for mowing the lawn, at least the front lawn today. The backyard would have taken me longer, and it would have hurt a little bit more. By the way, if you hear something in the background, that is the voice of Don Orsillo. He is doing a game for the San Diego Padres. It's on FS1. It's on in the living room. So I don't know if you can hear it or not. I'll find out when I replay this. Don, of course, used to be the play-by-play voice for Red Sox baseball on the television for Nesson, and people around here miss him, although I like the guys who are doing it. I like Dave O'Brien, who's doing the games now, but Orsillo was very good, and he is missed around here, and I can tell why. I mean, he's doing a great job with this game. I'm not really paying attention to it because it's in another room, but I can hear it from here, and it's a familiar voice, almost a reassuring familiarity. And meanwhile, the Red Sox are 1-1 as I do this. Great pitching performance by Nate Eovaldi on Friday, even if he did come out one inning with the wrong uniform on. I don't know if you've seen stories about this, but he wears number 17. After the first inning, I guess it was very humid and hot, so pitchers like to change their uniforms and come out with a fresh uniform on. But the way they've got things set up at Fenway Park right now, I mean, they're not in their clubhouse as they would be. They're either in the luxury boxes or they might have an area where they've got some stuff available for players to grab and go. But their lockers are actually in the where normally the high rollers have their luxury box areas. So he couldn't get from the field all the way up to the level where the luxury boxes were. So apparently they have some uniforms available that you can grab. And he grabbed one. He saw a 7 on the back of it. He grabbed it. He put it on. He went back out to pitch. He didn't understand why it felt a little tighter than usual. Well, it turns out he grabbed the number 7 uniform, which is the number worn by catcher Christian Vasquez. And he actually pitched one inning, and everybody's saying, "Hey, wait a minute! Did the one fall off?" No, these ones are embroidered on. These uniforms are really primo. You think you get a good uniform when you pay for a replica uniform? You've never seen a real major league or pro league uniform in your life until you've actually had one in your hands. And the stuff they sell at the stores, unless you're really willing to pay $300 or more for a shirt, you're not going to get what the players wear. And they make several of them for these guys. A pitcher could go through 4 or 5 jerseys in a game if he sweats a lot. So Eovaldi pitched the second inning of the game wearing number 7, and nobody could seem to figure it out. And I put something on Twitter saying, "Hey, anybody know why this is happening?" And a lot of people noticed it, but they couldn't get a reason out of it, anybody, because they're all working remotely. They're not working at Fenway Park right now. So eventually it came out that what had happened, he had grabbed in this rack of shirts there, wherever it was, he grabbed one that he thought was his, and then he realized it wasn't, and I guess he was getting a ribbing in the dugout from his teammates. So he finally went back in to wherever these uniforms were, found number 17, came out the next inning and pitched the rest of his 6-inning stint wearing that. So that was a big win by the Red Sox in the first game. Today, an afternoon game against the Orioles. They had no pitching at all. So that's, I guess, what we're supposed to expect from these Red Sox this year. But since they're going to allow practically everybody in the playoffs anyway, the thought is if they can win 30 of their 60 games, they have a really good shot. Maybe even 25 will get them in. And I think here in Massachusetts, everybody complains about the losing teams that get into the MIAA football playoffs. Hey, wouldn't that be something? 25 and 35 gets you into the fight for the World Series. Wouldn't that be something? Also this week, the Patriots open their training camp. It's going to be under really heavy COVID-19 restrictions. The players have to undergo a lot of testing during the week. I guess media members have to be tested as well, but since I'm not getting any calls from right now, I guess I'm probably not going to be tested. Players and coaches will be under the gun. Media will be under the gun. As far as I know, there will be no fans allowed to watch the practices this year, which is a shame. I mean, it is a very popular thing and has been since the days of practicing at Bryant College in Smithfield, Rhode Island, and then when they moved it to Foxborough, they've really made it into quite the event, and it's been free of charge. And as I said in a previous episode of The Owner's Box, After Dark, the Patriots have had days when they've gotten 15,000 people to watch a training camp practice. And they cheer and go crazy over every silly little catch that's made. But, it's a fun atmosphere, and it's great for the kids, too. If you want to get up, it's not as easy to get as close to the players as it used to be. There were times back at Bryant, and I thought this was great for people that went to Bryant. And, of course, not as many people went there in those days because the Patriots weren't that good. But if you really wanted to get an autograph from a player, all you had to do was walk with him from the practice field all the way down to where their dormitories were, and you could talk to them, and they were great people. You talk to guys like Steve Grogan and Pete Brock, guys who were on that team back then in the 70s and 80s. They were very happy. They were tired and beat up, but most of the time the fans were really cool. It got a little weird later when people started getting really fanatical about things, and then also there were the people who would get out there and try to get autographs that they could sell on a market somewhere. But in the original days of training camp at Bryant, it was really as homespun as you could get, and I miss those days. And I think none of the players today would have any clue as to what it was like. So they're all very protected, and as far as they're concerned, that's the way it should be. But still, they have autograph sessions scheduled and structured, but it's great for the kids to get involved in that, and I always love to see the kids cluster behind the goalpost areas when the kickers are out there practicing, because they all get a chance to try to catch the ball when the ball actually comes into the fan area on the berm that's behind the practice fields, and nobody gets killed for the most part. What I don't like is when I see adults go running in there and try to take the ball away from the kids, and they don't get to keep the ball. No, they're very happy to throw it back, but it should be just kids trying to do that, and that's it. So anyway, I'm not, as I said, I'm probably not going to get any work from the Associated Press. They have such tight restrictions on how many media can attend. I'm assuming that's going to keep me out of action. So good for that. But I'm just wondering, is this the beginning of a short Cam Newton era in Foxborough? Or will Jarrett Stidham win the day, as we all thought he would, when Tom Brady left and there was nobody else left? Because we all know that Brian Hoyer is not going to be the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots unless disaster has befallen them. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for listening to these and watching these audio episodes of The Owner's Box After Dark. And if you want to see them again, or if you want to listen to my audio podcast, which are really the standard bearers of the new The Owner's Box empire, you can do so by going to my website, which is www.theownersbox2020.com. It's always there. And if you go to the web version, say if you can get it on your phone, but it's better to go to the web version because you see other things I have on it, like restaurant reviews and coffee reviews and just general nonsense, but it's fun. And if you want to send me some comment to let me know if you like these things and you demand me to keep doing them, or if you said, yeah, we've had enough, you can send me an email at, here it is, theownersbox2020 at gmail.com. Now, see how it is? No spaces, punctuation, or anything like that. Okay, fine. Send me some snail mail, too. The Owner's Box, Post Office Box 272, Mansfield, Massachusetts, 02048. I opened the mailbox for the first time today, and there was something from the Postal Service thanking me for getting a mailbox. Send me a mail. Send me something. And who knows? I might send you something back. I might send you one of those really spiffy coffee mugs that you saw in the earlier episodes. So, I guess that'll do it for this much of what I'm doing. Like I said, if I get some software where I can edit things in and have cool graphics and like cuts and other things other than my face, I might do that. And I can do it. I've done it before in the past. I just got to find the right software right now. So other than that, thank you so much for paying attention to these things during my loneliness on vacation. We will return with new episodes of The Owner's Box soon, I promise. We will be starting our second season, I guess you could call it. We had 26 episodes in the first season, so if you figure it out, it actually started in October and went to February. Went to when was it? June, right? Yeah. So it was not really a real year, but if you do my original plan was to one every other week, so 26 episodes would have been 52 weeks. So anyway, we will start with season 2, which is no big deal because the theme song is going to be the same, and probably everything else is going to be the same. Maybe a few different jingles here and there. I don't know. But they will resume soon. I will find guests and some of your favorites from the past, and obviously new ones, because nobody wants to hear the same people over and over and over and over, as somebody told me the other day. So until then, I wish you all the best. I want you to wash your hands frequently, stay out of crowded places, hold your breath if it's all possible. I'd wear the mask right now, but it's in the car. And I have a box of them over there. I'm not going to open one up, and I'm not going to leave the camera and go up and do that. But, please wear a mask. It is proven to be the best way to stop these things, stop the COVID-19 virus from attacking us and making our lives miserable. So, for the first time, I'm able to talk over the jingle in the proper way, except for that beep that you heard. Thank you again, and good night, everybody.